Hello, and welcome to another episode of Be the Love to Awaken Our Souls. Thank you so much again for tuning in this week. I'm Stacy Musial.
And I am Brenda Carey, and we are your co-hosts and souls on the journey. We are on a mission to raise the consciousness of humans and the planet, and we need your help. Please spread the word to your family and friends and join us every week. Consider becoming a Patreon supporter or a sponsor to help with the operating costs like editing and the many hours we spend creating these shows with quality guests and content. And if you have resonated with our mission, support us in a way that raises your vibration to love.
And if it feels safe for you, I'd like to begin by inviting you to take a moment to get centered with us. I'd like to invite you to take a beautiful cleansing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth, releasing anything that is keeping you from being present here and now. And take another deep breath in through your nose, breathing in calm, peaceful, loving energy, and breathing out anything you are ready to release in this now moment. And take one more breath in through your nose, breathing in light and love, breathing that into each of your cells, your organs, your systems, your entire being. And imagine breathing that light and love and sending it back to all of humanity and emanating it deep within and without your entire being. And always remember that you always, always have your breath to come back to.
Well, we are excited to share this episode with you from the beautiful area of Sedona, Arizona.
Mm.
Yes, we've been really taking in the beauty of the red rocks and the vortexes and just really embracing this high vibe energy that Sedona has. And so Stacy and I, although we are recording in different rooms, we're actually in the same space. So if you're watching
Mm.
us on YouTube and you're thinking, wait, they're not in their usual places, that's because we decided to end out this amazing year of 2023, really envisioning just the immense possibility, potential evolution of our own personal growth and the evolution of Be the Love podcast. And so this episode is going to be in celebration of that coming to 3 years of podcasting and also honoring the season of winter solstice, which is this beautiful time of recognizing the light that we see around us and the light within us. So this is going to be just a celebratory episode that you also get to reflect on and participate in.
Mm-hmm. Sedona, Arizona. Sedona, Arizona.
Yeah.
I always get so jived here. Like the energy is so palpable. I can totally feel it in all my being and my body. And, the one of the reasons we chose here too, and just reflecting, 3 years ago on 11/11, Be the Love podcast was born. And so this is where I received the download for Be the Love podcast and where then it was birthed into existence on 12/21/2020. So that is just a beautiful reflection, just recognizing how far we've come with this podcast and where it's emerged from and emerged to and continuing to emerge because we have so many desires and insights and visions and part of being here is also envisioning what we want to create for the new year, but first it's also really important that we do celebrate where we've come and what we've experienced and what we've gone through and accomplished through this year.
Mm.
And this has been such a beautiful journey. So I'm
Yeah.
just really grateful to you, Brenda, for just, being on this journey with me and continuing to create the beautiful energy of this. I had no idea where it would come from, as we start birthing something into existence. You never know the flight and the wings it's going to take. So I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you.
Thank you so much. Yes, and I am so grateful that that you followed through with the vision, right? Because so often we might get a download, but then either self-doubt creeps in, or maybe that really wasn't the right vision, but that you like really catapulted this vision forward. And I mean, you're right, it has birthed, especially this year. I feel like it has just grown and blossomed. And I see that within you, and I've noticed it within myself. And what a beautiful time of year I mean, that's the purpose of winter is we have more darkness, right? We have more darkness so that we do go within. That's how nature has designed this really important season. And I know when we look out into the world, we still see all the kind of holiday busyness and hustle and bustle. And so it may not always reflect that on the outside, but if we really tune in to nature's messages, we can see that we do have more darkness and we can take the time to reflect. And that's where we're going to continue to go. And Stacy and I are going to share some of our personal reflections from this year, but then also invite you as the listener in to reflect on the year of it's 2023. But no matter what year you are listening to this episode, you can do it at any point, at any year, because it's always beneficial.
Hmm.
So as we kind of look on like the outside, I always kind of like to work on the outside and then like pull in. Like I start to think of like what opportunities this year. And obviously the podcast is a specific one for me, but really thinking of the opportunities to learn, to grow personally, and just to evolve our soul's journey. And I think one of the things that I've really appreciated this year is if you've been listening to us for a while, you've noticed that Stacy and I have taken on a lot of the weekly episodes, and that was new from the previous year. It used to be every week was interviewing a guest every week, and we have kind of stepped into and boldly taken on speaking our truth, which for me, as someone who's highly introverted and I tend to keep to myself, like that was a stretch. And so in reflection, I look at the opportunity, this specific opportunity, as a way that has really stretched my ability to speak my truth. And so I would invite you as a listener, like think of opportunities that might have not been the most comfortable at the time, but definitely have stretched you to be a more authentic expression of who you really are.
Hmm. Absolutely. I think this year has been, for me, I mean, I would definitely echo that. This has been a year of stepping into, what is my truth, and I've held that truth for a long time, and then speaking it, there's always a different energy of moving into that space. And, and honestly, there's been, some maybe lashback, with speaking our truth, recognizing that people don't and aren't always going to agree. And that's okay because there's room for all. We all have a beautiful, beautiful voice to share. And when we recognize that, others might not agree or we hit a nerve in some way,
Mhm.
it's an invitation to honor each other and on our path, and no matter where we are, because that's what makes us human. The human, beautiful potentiality of all thoughts and all conversations can there's room for everything and recognizing that. And so that's the beautiful part of the work that we do is that we get to share our thoughts and open up so that we can fuel this sense of belonging as well for all, because when we all have room to share, then we are also releasing the shame for being different. And so,
Mm.
when we're recognizing that we have this understanding that all is welcome, and I think it starts to shift the world, the level of consciousness that we can create, because what is, that difference? It's coming from ego, right? And so that's part of like the journey for me this year is like, opening up space for that and, really planting seeds for people to honor themselves in this place, including
Mm.
myself, because, I've been on a lot of personal work this year, which I'll get into. But I think that is, recognizing that we all have space to be different, to be ourselves, to be human.
Absolutely. And I like how you bring up, which was kind of leads me into like the next time a period of reflection, like reflecting on, yes, the opportunities, but then the people that come into our lives. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago, called Honoring Our Teachers, in episode 183. I would highly recommend listening to that, where we do this deep dive into like the people that come into our lives, like really reflect on like the wisdom teachers, our personal teachers that have really positively influenced us to maybe step it up and grow a little bit more. And then also the people that are button pushers and the people that, we might not have chosen to come into our lives, that we might have really struggled with this year, and really reflect on that. Like, how have they influenced us in a positive way, or in just bringing more awareness to ourselves? Like, we are a reflection. We draw in the people I think that we need. It may not be the people we'd specifically choose that always make us feel, you know, amazing, but people that we definitely need in our lives. And so to kind of take a moment to reflect, like reflect on the people in your lives, the people that, you just absolutely love unconditionally. Like, bring those people in, send them love, send them your light. And then think of those people that maybe it's a coworker, or maybe it is a family member that has really challenged you to really step into, again, more of that light of who you really are.
Hmm. Absolutely. And just reflecting on, my own personal time of reflection and the people that have really been present in my life. It's really been a year of family and growth and ancestral healing. And
Mm.
so just honoring my own growth this year. And, I did a lot of traveling with my family this year. I think, I mean, I traveled a lot this year. Um, and I want to say like probably six or seven, I didn't really count, but six or seven out of like nine or 10 trips this year have been with family. Um, and so, but it was an opportunity. It was also my personal numerology year of six, which was all about family and stuff. So I found that really interesting. But so I was very attuned to the family dynamics going on and ancestral patterns that were happening. And so, but it really gave me an opportunity to heal the things that were still there that I still needed, right? Because our family is our sometimes, that's where a lot of these patterns come from. So we get an
Absolutely.
opportunity to really reflect deep within, okay, what is this about? And and then going even deeper. So for me, I recognized a lot of it was ancestral patterns. And so I really dove deep into some constellation work with my family, somatic work, where is this still residing in my body and how is it impacting maybe the family I had, these relationships with. And, for instance, like my mom, I had some constellation energy work that I had to, heal with her on an energetic level, and same with my dad, and then, and how that was affecting my relationship with my son. And so once I cleared these ancestral patterns and really looked deep within, it cleared the energy to create new relationships or a relationship in a new way, which was really powerful. And so this year has been a very powerful shift. And then I was able to really connect on such a deeper level and with the family members and have a new relationship with them in a way that I had never been able to, because there was that energy that was still stuck there from ancestral patterns. Like I went like probably about 5 or 6 generations back, through my own heritage to where some of these patterns started and originated. And so once I started clearing those, things shifted so quickly this year. So I'm so just beautifully grateful for the opportunities that presented themselves this year so I could truly heal not only myself, but my own family ancestral patterns and how that emanates outward into the collective consciousness of our planet.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I love how you bring up, you know, clearing some of those ancestral or generational patterns, and how when we do that work, that energetic healing work. And I tell many of my clients, like, if you like, because they ask, well, how do I know exactly if I need to do generational or ancestral healing? And I'm like, well, if there's a pattern that keeps coming up for you and you almost feel like you're a victim to it, not that we're a victim in any way, but you feel like, oh my gosh, this showed up again, or this type of person showed up again, or I'm falling into this mental habit again. I'm like, really look back. And it could even just be 1 or 2 generations back. For me, mine has been more immediate generational healing of 1 or 2 generations back. And then it begins to expand and expand more and more. And yes, when we bring that healing through the generations, and it continues on. So I know that the generational healing work that I've done this year in particular is affecting and will affect, my daughters. And if they decide to have children, like it will continue on. So it's not just about us. It's more of the whole expanse of healing. And which then leads to, like, just think of the challenges that you might have had this year. Maybe you've noticed these mental habits or loops, or maybe it's losing a job or losing a loved one, or things that do feel really heavy, because I do think that this year has brought some heaviness for many people. I mean, absolutely myself included. There's been like expectations that we thought we would have had at the beginning of the year, and they, for whatever reason, not good or bad, they were not met in the way that we thought that they would, even if maybe we put a lot of effort into it, but it didn't kind of fall into place like we had intentioned it to do. So just also honoring the challenges, honoring the struggles. And although, we may not understand the why right now, and we may not have a next step of like how to change this or how to shift this, but just holding space for the heaviness and not trying to just push it down or just discount it, because I do think that's also a part of really moving inward. Like, and yes, there is darkness in there and there can be some heaviness, That's why I think like reaching out to other people can be really important that do support us, that do listen deeply to us without judgment, and that we can really be our authentic selves. Because that is how we grow. We're energetic beings and we are designed to grow and evolve in community. I really don't think we're meant to do it completely isolated. So I
Mhm.
would encourage listeners just to think about some of those struggles and challenges that you almost, you felt like, oh, why? Like, why did this have to happen?
Mhm.
And
I
maybe
just
pull back a little bit and maybe there's a bigger picture to it.
Absolutely. I think that, recognizing I like started this year, I mean, different, intentions and everything. And this year looked nothing like what I had intended. There was a lot of things that like were just coming up that I had to go through to get to where I am right now. And I'm still going through it, there's still like a process there. But looking in hindsight, the things that were coming up and needed to come up, they needed to clear, right? They needed to clear so that I can make room for the intentions I set, which was, continuing to raise my vibration and my energy and consciousness. But, those ancestral patterns needed to be cleared. And I feel a deep responsibility to do that. And as we are, one of the beginning intentions of this podcast was, really looking at coming into this age of Aquarius, right? In this age of Aquarius, it's, we go through these 26,000 year cycles. We're just coming out of the age of Pisces and coming into the age of Aquarius, which really is about, the expansion of consciousness. And so we are, the revelation of truth, right? And so we are coming into this whole new place of expanding consciousness. And to do that, we have to do the work that we're doing. And we're all being really called to do this work because we are in a new age. And so it's not even just a responsibility, but it is, I think, a calling right now that so many people are facing and feeling. And, so really taking into the energy that we are in and that's the the energy that we're feeling called to. And I just want to encourage you and invite you to really step into that, and this is a time for shifting our perspectives and doing the deep work and recognizing that it's not personal, right? Because we've all been born into some of these family dynamics and these systems that have been created over time. And, as we're moving, we're shifting into this new energy. And so really taking the time to look deeper and outside of outside of yourself, but within yourself, right? So looking at like the ancestral patterns and how they've impacted you. So, and then what you can do, because we are never victims to our experiences, but we have a responsibility. So it's not our fault, but it is our responsibility to take the time to do the healing work. And, it's never one of us, right? It does take a community. It does take the collective. But if we each take a personal responsibility, we can shift that energy and move into this new age. And we are raising the vibration of the planet every time we take responsibility. We are raising our own consciousness every time we take responsibility and shift the energy, because it's all energy and it's all just part of our collective consciousness that we can now take responsibility and clear the roots of that so we can continue to rise above, right? We have to clear that dark energy going within, the dark energy of the solstice, of the energy that's been heavy for so long, and move through it. We have to move through it. There's no getting over it, right? So let's
Mm.
move through it and move into the light.
Absolutely. And just remembering that the light within, like we are our own inner radiance, our own beauty that gets to shine out into the world, and we get to affect other people in so many beautiful and positive ways. And so if you are interested in learning or listening, excuse me, to Stacy's Aquarius meditation, we will put that in the show notes if that's something you are curious about.
And
And
just to intercept there, that was recorded and released on December 21st, 2020, if you're looking
awesome.
for it. And we will put the link in there.
Yeah. And thank you for listening to Be the Love podcast. If you have enjoyed listening to our show, please share the love by sharing it with your family and friends, giving us a 5-star written review on iTunes and Spotify, or liking us on Facebook. I'm Brenda Carey, and as a holistic healer, I offer coaching and online programs to guide people in their sacred path to vibrant health. My website is sacredpathyogaandreiki.com.
And I'm Stacy Musial. I'm a psychotherapist specializing in whole person, deep soul healing. And you can find out more about my work, my book, and programs at awakenyouремpoweredsoul.com. And you can check out our links in the show notes. And please consider supporting our mission to awaken our souls with a monthly donation that helps with the operating costs of this podcast so we can continue to spread the love. To contribute, please visit our Patreon website at patreon.com/Be the Love podcast. And stay tuned for more episodes being released on Mondays at 5:55 a.m. Mountain Time.